The real reason this game is so hard is the amount of enemies that show up in these random encounters. In 3D Final Fantasy games, they learn to take it easy on you, and they usually put only 2 or 3 or 4 enemies on the screen, and at most 6. This game though, there are always 5 or 6 or 9 enemies on the screen every time, which hit you constantly. And if you manage to kill them with that damn battle glitch fucking you up, you end up getting out of the battle more battered than Zack. There aren't any Phoenix Downs either. You gotta go to a clinic and pay to revive your dead guys. It's 40 gil, which doesn't sound like much. But then you realize that the enemies give you about 2 cents and 1 experience point. So you have to fight hundreds of battles just to be able to buy a potion, and just to level up once. So maybe the enemies won't hit you as badly as they usually do. And you desperately need to buy armor, weapons, and magic, all of which cost too much. And remember, you have to buy 4 sets of weapons, 4 sets of 4 types of armor, all of which become obsolete once you move from one dungeon to the next. And a few cure spells that frankly at the start of the game are too damn weak to work. And the game doesn't give you a clue as to which characters can use which weapons. So unless you have a guide, you're screwed. And remember, you have to buy each weapon, give it to someone, and then equip it. If you don't know that, these battles will be hell. But most damning of all, it'll take you around a half an hour to level up. Usually when I play Final Fantasy games, when I'm in the first dungeon I like to get to level 10, or if I start at level 1 I like to get to level 5, just to be prepared. This took me 10 hours. 10 hours! And look how long it takes to level up. Yeah. So at the start of the game, you're at the knife edge of death every single second. The enemies beat the shit out of you. And then the bosses are insanely easy every time. Maybe it's because you're finally finding a battle when you're not totally outnumbered, but really it's just disappointing. After 15 hours or so, you eventually build a tolerance to all this, and then suddenly, the game is nothing. You spend the second half of the game coasting through it half asleep. So as you can see, the first Final Fantasy is barely a Final Fantasy game. There's no Cid, there's no Chocobos, there's no story, and it's just frustrating to play. Like, the game hasn't aged well either. When it first came out, its almost the plot was the most complex thing any gamer had seen at the time. But you know, once Final Fantasy III came out, an infinitely superior game, there was absolutely no reason to ever play this game again. Final Fantasy has only ever sold 2 million copies. Compare that to Final Fantasy VII, which sold 3 million in the first 2 days. Enough introduction though, let's get to the game. The world's gone to shit. The princess has been stolen. The king needs some heroes. And out of nowhere, 4 people bust through the door, claiming they are the foretold ones, the Light Warriors. And they have the 4 legendary crystals. I mean, orbs. And the king's like, show me! And the heroes are like, psh! So the king goes, save my daughter, Princess Sarah, from the evil Dark Knight Garland. And I say, and my reward is... You know, this game constantly tries to stick it to Zelda. So wouldn't it be like the ultimate revenge if as a reward, the 4 heroes got to have sex with the princess all night, every night, for the next like 20 years? One thing's for sure, our heroes never ask for it. Or say anything for that matter. I hate when games do that. If you're playing the original version, you only get this text prelude. Hey, prelude, I get it! And nothing else. All of the NES Final Fantasy games have these, but only the first Final Fantasy gives you absolutely no other introduction. The whole gameplays are like this. The amount of clues this game gives you is astounding. There's about 2 in the whole game, and they're bad. Everyone acts as if you already know what to do, and the king has already told you about the princess. If you talk to him again, the king says Garland kidnapped her for ransom, in hopes that somehow from all this, he'll become king. Garland's an idiot. So the king gives you absolutely nothing to help you on this quest, and you have to go break your ass exploring this castle filled with river dancing guards and fighting enemies in order to buy stuff. You know, like weapons. How stupid is this king to trust 4 guys who say they're heroes, but they don't even have weapons? Anyway, you leave Cornelia Castle to get the Chaos Shrine. In there you find Garland, who's a master of hiding within his impregnable fortress, given that you just walk straight up to him. Garland? God damn. We fight him. What, that's it? I just coughed and he's dead? Well, whatever. We saved the princess, we give her back, and the king says, "I'll build the bridge in your honor." Okay, that sucks. Are you gonna name the bridge after me? No? Fuck you. The princess is more amenable. She gives you a loot. Great, because that's exactly what 4 heroes need on a quest. A loot. You're gonna get a lot of useful gifts like that. So the bridge is built, the epic prelude plays, and then the game gets dull. You go to Provokio, where everyone from everywhere is begging for your help. You save it from pirates, get their boat, and go to Elfheim to save the ass of another incompetent king. Astos, the dark elf, has poisoned the prince, stole all the money, killed Link, and no one knows what to do. The king orders you to kill Astos. Yeah, screw you too. But to get to him, you first have to go through the marsh cave. I have nightmares about the marsh cave. You think Omega was hard? You think Emerald Weapon or Yaizamat was hard? Or that 100 floor dungeon in X2? No! This is the hardest dungeon in all of Final Fantasy. Right here! The enemies just come constantly, and the much-loved status effects are introduced at full force right here. And you're so deep in the dungeon you'll never escape. Another thing, you expect to go in the cave, go all the way through it, and find the exit, right? Nope. Since this game gives you absolutely no clues, you don't know that you're just supposed to walk in, get an item, and then go back the way you came. That's how all the dungeons work in this game. But since this is the first time, you're gonna waste so much time exploring the cave, looking for an exit, and just dying. Inside, you'll be desperately looking for a save point. Silly rabbit, there are no save points in this game. You can only save at inns. For those of you not experienced with older Final Fantasies, let me try to explain how bad this is. I'm at level 10 right now, but that's only because I've done this before. You would normally be at around level 3 or level 5. I could only afford 10 or 12 potions at best, and 1 or 2 antidotes. I could cast a cure spell only 6 times, and each one only heals 20 HP. There's no ethers in this game, so once I cast the spells, that's it. See those dead guys? There's not a goddamn thing I can do about it. Phoenix Downs don't exist in this game. If one of those guys is poisoned, and I don't do anything about it, they lose health as I walk. If your white mage dies, you'd better haul ass out of that cave, because you have no hope. The black mage can't hit for shit, and he can only use his magic 6 or 7 times, and it barely makes a dent. My warrior is my only chance. But the enemies hit me with 30 to 80 HP with every hit, and they keep paralyzing. Put all that together, and that only means one thing. The only way out of here is to fight a lot very close to the exit, to make enough money to buy enough antidotes and cure spells to leave. You gotta be at like level 15 or something, to get out of here without much pain, which is a bit of an imposition, considering the last boss you had to fight, Garland, you only had to be at level 2. When you get out of there on the 15th try, you get to the Western Keep, give him the crown you found in the Marsh Cave, kill him, and get the Crystal Eye. Give the Crystal Eye to the curmudgeonly witch Matoya, and she'll give you the Jolt Tonic. Give the Jolt Tonic to the king, and the prince awakens and you get a magic key. Seeing a pattern here? Technically all the Final Fantasies work this way, but none were this blatantly obvious. Get this for that, get that for this, whatever. Okay, so you leave Elfheim with the king very pleased, even though Elfheim is still broke. Go back to Cornelia Castle and use the key to get some TNT. And then go to the dwarf's cave. Give the dwarf the explosive so he can make a canal so you can go to Melmond. Melmond is under attack by a vampire, so you gotta kill it by going to the Earth Cavern, getting a Star Ruby, giving it to the rock monster in the Sage's Cave, so you can meet Sarda, or Sada, or whatever, who tells you that the real culprit isn't vampires, but Leash, the Earth Fiend. This guy is obviously a goddamn liar, because you killed this Leash guy, and the vampires are still there. You'll be fighting 4 fiends in this game, based on the 4 elements, and then the final boss. It's sort of become a cliche since this game that Final Fantasy is the game where you protect the crystals, fight the elementals, and then the bad guy. This game will turn out to be exactly like that. Plus, because this game is so obvious about the elemental theme, you'll only need the most simplistic strategy to beat these dungeons. Sarda gives you the Earth Rod, which, guess what? You'll use to fight Leash. Leash is the first real boss in this game, but he's still easy as hell. Then you plug in the crystal, orb, and we've saved Melmond. Almost. And yet again, you get jack shit for it.